Good evening, brave souls. Tonight we venture into a tale of terror that will grip your heart and haunt your dreams. In a crowded neighborhood of Cairo, where the ancient and modern collide, lived a young man named Amr. He was 18, a recent high school graduate with big dreams of leaving the crowded streets of the city to study architecture abroad. But until that day came, he helped his father in their small grocery shop near the old market. Life in the city was tough, but Amr had a strong heart and believed that hard work would take him far. However, there was one thing that haunted him. Since childhood, his grandmother had warned him about the black cat, a spirit in the form of a cat, said to be cursed and able to take revenge on those who disrespected the old ways. "Never harm a black cat," she would say, her eyes wide with fear. "They are protectors of ancient souls, and to harm one will bring a curse upon you." Amr, like most young people, didn't take these stories seriously. But things changed one summer night. It was late, and Amr was closing up the shop when he heard a strange sound, a low, growling hiss. He turned and saw a black cat sitting on the sidewalk, its yellow eyes glowing in the dim light of the street lamp. "Go away. Shoo!" Amr waved his hand, trying to scare it off. But the cat didn't move. It stared at him, unblinking. Annoyed, Amr grabbed a rock and threw it at the cat. The rock hit the ground near it, and the cat hissed again, louder this time, before disappearing into the shadows. Shaking his head, Amr closed the shop and headed home, thinking nothing more of it. But that night, everything changed. Amr lay in bed, the ceiling fan spinning lazily above him, when he heard scratching at his window. At first, he thought it was just the wind, but the sound grew louder, more insistent. He got up and opened the window, peering outside into the alley. Nothing, but as he turned back to bed, he froze. There, sitting on his windowsill, was the black cat from earlier, its eyes glowing eerily in the darkness. Amr's heart raced. "How did you get up here?" He tried to shoo it away again, but the cat didn't move. Instead, it let out a long, low growl that sent shivers down his spine. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, it jumped off the windowsill and vanished into the night. Amr tried to calm down, telling himself it was just a stray cat, but sleep wouldn't come easily that night. He tossed and turned, haunted by strange dreams, visions of ancient temples, golden statues of cats, and shadowy figures watching him from the darkness. The next morning, Amr felt uneasy. His mind was filled with thoughts of the cat, the warning from his grandmother, and the vivid nightmares. But he pushed the fear aside, determined not to let superstition rule his life. As he went about his day, strange things started happening. His father's shop door wouldn't open, even though there was nothing wrong with the lock. A shelf of cans fell without anyone touching it, and the black cat appeared again, watching him from the street, always from a distance, but always there. "Maybe it's just a coincidence," Amr muttered to himself, though he didn't believe it. Later that evening, his best friend Khaled came to visit. They sat in the small living room, watching TV and laughing, trying to shake off the strange events. But when Khaled noticed Amr's nervous glances out the window, he frowned. "What's going on with you?" Amr hesitated, then told Khaled about the cat. "It's just a stray, but it's everywhere I go. I can't shake this feeling that something's wrong." Khaled laughed. "It's just a cat, man. You're letting those old stories get to your head." Amr wanted to believe him, but deep down, he knew something wasn't right. That night, the nightmares returned, more vivid than ever. He dreamt of a tomb, hidden beneath the desert sands, guarded by statues of black cats. In his dream, Amr entered the tomb, and the statue's eyes followed him as he walked deeper into the darkness. He awoke with a start, drenched in sweat. But this time, it wasn't just a dream. The room felt cold, unnaturally so, and the sound of scratching came from the door. Slowly, Amr got up and opened it. There, standing in the hallway, was the black cat. But something was different. Its eyes glowed brighter, and its body seemed larger, more menacing. Amr backed away, fear gripping his chest. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice trembling. "I didn't mean to hurt you." The cat growled, its fur bristling, and for a moment, Amr thought it would attack. But then, it slowly turned and walked toward the door, disappearing into the shadows once more. The next morning, Amr knew what he had to do. He visited his grandmother's old house, searching for answers. In the attic, he found an old book filled with ancient Egyptian symbols and spells. Among the pages, he discovered a section about the guardians of the dead, black cats that protected the souls of the departed. With a heavy heart, Amr returned to the spot where he had first seen the cat. He knelt down and whispered, "I'm sorry. I didn't understand." For a long moment, nothing happened. But then, out of the shadows, the black cat appeared once more. It looked at him, its eyes no longer glowing with malice, but with something else. Understanding. Amr stood up, feeling a weight lift from his chest as the cat slowly walked away, vanishing into the alley. The curse had been lifted, but Amr would never forget the lesson he had learned. Some legends weren't just stories.